Times are uncertain right now, and no matter what's going on in the world, there's always opportunity. That's why I'm so excited to share with you guys the story of how I paid for my master's degree up front during the 2008 recession. But before we get into that, now's a good time to stop and be thankful for that little like button at the bottom of your screen, because it's free, and when you tap that like button until it turns blue, it sends this video out to many more people who can use this information. So go ahead and take advantage of that right now. Thank you so much. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Welcome to the family, and thank you so much. Alright, so now for the story. So here I am, I'm 22 years old, I'm trying to complete a competitive education so I could get a high-paying job. Now, my main goal was to earn a lot of money after I graduate. Little did I know I was going to learn something more valuable about money on my path to paying the tuition, and I would learn more about how money works than I did through my entire time spent in college. My brother's a locksmith, and shortly after 2008, when the crash happened, he worked for a real estate agent that was helping the banks package and sell multiple foreclosed homes. Now, just as a recap, maybe the younger crowd who are watching this video, in 2008, a lot of people filed for subprime mortgages, meaning that they had less than ideal credit. Some people didn't even have an income or a job, and yet they filed for a mortgage, meaning a loan to purchase a home. On top of that, many of these mortgages were ARM loans, or adjustable rate mortgages, which means in the beginning you get a low interest rate and your predicted monthly payments look good. However, when interest rates go up, so do those monthly payments that you make as well. A lot of people found themselves in a situation where they unpredictably had to pay much more than they originally intended for the home, and that led to foreclosure, which basically means that the bank takes back the home. Now, did you know when you're foreclosed on, you are given a certain amount of time to get your belongings and leave the house? After that period of time, a sheriff shows up to make sure that you actually leave, and a locksmith shows up to change the lock to make sure that either you don't come back or that homeless people don't enter the home and stay in the home. So as you can imagine, my brother was the locksmith who changed the locks on these doors. And as a young guy, about 24, 25 years old, he thought he was making pretty good money. $200 to $300 a door, 2 to 3 times a day, 5 times a week. And things were looking pretty good for him. One day, my brother changed the locks on a foreclosure, and this was a bit unusual. When he changed the locks, nobody was inside. And what was left behind was a bunch of things, a bunch of stuff, a bunch of belongings from the person who was foreclosed on. He was a little curious when he saw all this stuff in the house. He wondered, where does it all go? He called the realtor and he asked, hey, I noticed there's all this stuff left behind in the house. What do you guys do with it? The realtor just told him, oh, we hire some construction company to take all those things away and trash it. And in that moment, my brother got a good idea. He asked the realtor, well, how much do you pay these construction workers? The realtor said that it varies from house to house and that they pay them $5,000 to maybe $6,000 per house. Bingo, this was an opportunity moment. My brother told the realtor, hey, my brother and I will do this for even cheaper if you guys just pay us in cash. My brother offered $4,000 per house, no matter what the size was. The realtor liked the idea, especially the fact that it was less time consuming looking up a different construction company for each house. That very next day, my brother called me up and we planned to trash out the next house. So check it out, we rented a U-Haul truck for about $100 a day. We paid to dump $150 per session to empty the entire U-Haul truck into the dumping grounds. We got our gloves, hammers, and we got to work. Remember, each home that we cleaned out, we grossed $4,000, minus our expenses was $250. That came out to $3,750 total per house. But there were 2 of us, so $3,750 per house divided by 2. We were making $1,875 per house. That was really good money for a 22-year-old who was still in college full-time, not to mention during a recession when many people were hurting and a lot of people didn't even have a job. After 6 houses, I made roughly $11,000. That was almost my full 2 years of grad school tuition paid for upfront. Keep in mind this was done within the span of about 2 months. Some people take more than 30 years to pay off their student loans. This was definitely an opportunity. And finally, after cleaning out 8 houses, I had more than enough money to pay for my books and my parking fees at the school, which is definitely not cheap if you've ever gone to college. Don't get me wrong, this was definitely quick money, but it wasn't easy money. This was definitely hard work. When we would come home from a job, our hands would be covered in blisters and our clothes were so dirty that we would just throw them out right away. And this was pretty crazy. When we would blow our nose, it would be brown with dirt. However, opportunity presented itself, and even though this was a dark time for the country, even the whole world, we were still able to come out on top. Now, when this all happened, I knew that it was an opportunity. I didn't really have a concept of how bad the economy was hurting at the time. Now, looking back in hindsight, I see how it really was a great opportunity. So I touched on this a little bit earlier, but the funny thing about this whole situation was that I was going to college so I could make good money and be comfortable in life. However, I learned more about money on my way to figuring out this problem because nobody was giving me money. I either had to do student loans or figure out a way to pay off this tuition, and through sheer will and just opportunity, we made it happen. I hope you guys enjoyed this short story. This was a really fun time for me and my brother. I remember sometimes when furniture wouldn't fit through the door, we actually had axes and sledgehammers. And can you imagine how fun that is for like a 19 to 20-year-old kid smashing apart old furniture to get it through the door, because that was actually easier than taking the furniture whole, lifting it, and trying to get it through the narrow doorway. So here's what I learned from this experience. I learned about gross profit when we got paid the money to clean out the house. I learned about net profit when we paid for the U-Haul truck and when we paid the dump to throw out the trash. I also learned that to make money, you don't necessarily need to have a resume and a job application as well. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to tap that like button. Send this video out to more people who will find this inspirational, especially during this time. I've got more videos on mindset, how to make money, and of course, as a real estate agent, I've got more tips on selling your home for the highest price, buying your home for the lowest price, and also once a week, I give you guys a quick market update so you know what's going on and you don't miss a thing. Thank you guys. See you later this week.